Hello, this is Jeff from Studio 41 Gaming, and yeah, the next episode of the 41 show, we had to get to it sometime, so here we are. We're talking about Pokemon. So this could actually end up being a shorter episode, since it's covering just a lot of the stuff that was announced in the Pokemon Nintendo Direct yesterday, and a couple other extra things I wanted to talk about for a little while, really, since I've had this channel started. But as always, the way I like to do these, if anyone is watching and wants to add it in the chat, feel free. I'm always open to stuff like that, so I always have my eye on the chat during these, so let's get started. So the Pokemon Nintendo Direct. They announced Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon for the 3DS, basically sequels, kind of like the third version of previous generations, like Emerald, Crystal, Yellow, stuff like that. But they're going the black and white route, so we're getting Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon instead. Well, instead of Black 2, White 2, we're not getting Sun 2 and Moon 2. Even though I do think the idea of Pokemon Eclipse could be cool, and might I might just say this about Pokemon Eclipse. I wouldn't be too shocked if something like that came out for the Switch, but that is a whole nother beast that we're talking about in a couple minutes. So, they announced Pokken Tournament for Switch. It's Pokken Tournament DX. There's adding some characters. I think maybe a couple new stages in. I got Pokken Tournament, and I even said it back in one of my Pokemon reviews. I was talking about it. I got it because it was Pokemon, but I'm not big on fighting games, so I never really got into it as much as I probably should have. And then Gold and Silver re-release for the 3DS. We knew these were coming sometime. This soon is a little surprising, but I'm not too shocked about this. The only thing is they didn't announce Crystal. That's a little weird. As far as I know, unless I missed something, it's just Gold and Silver. So not Red, Blue, and Yellow. It's just Gold and Silver, no Crystal for the 3DS. Virtual Console, that is. And then nothing for the Switch in terms of a mainstream Pokemon title. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if Eclipse came to that. I am, though, slightly disappointed. Again, though, I'm not too shocked this didn't happen. The Switch, I think, does deserve a Pokemon title, a full Pokemon title. If they go that route, that is, Eclipse would make sense, but still, I think the 3D, like, take advantage of your technology Pokemon is the way to go. But the third version, again, I'm not too shocked Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon aren't coming to the 3DS, or the Switch, excuse me. But Eclipse, if they did do that, it wouldn't shock me, but I still don't think that would be full worthy for the Switch, unless they really took advantage of the technology and the hardware. Pokken is okay, but slightly disappointing since it was a Wii U game. It came out, what, 2015, I think? 2015, like holiday 2015 for the Wii U. So, this, again, I think people are going to enjoy it since it's going to be on the Switch and not on the Wii U when that system was it was in its twilight of its twilight of its twilight when that game came out. Basically, nobody was buying the Wii U, and I think Pokken spurred sales a little bit, but not much. Gold and Silver is definitely cool. Again, I knew this was coming at some point in time, so I'm definitely going to at least pick up Silver since I never actually owned Pokemon Silver. I've always gotten Gold or Heart Gold in terms of the DS remake, so I'm definitely going to get Pokemon Silver. But what do we think this Switch is going to get? I definitely hope it's the 3D open world Pokemon game. The pipe dream game, as I like to call it, because it's the game that if Nintendo ever made, it's the guaranteed it would sell tens of millions of copies for sure. It is doubtful that they would go that full-on route, but I really hope they do. I definitely think the Switch is going to get some kind of Pokemon game in term not the fighting game spin-off, but whether it's a Kanto remaster or even, yes, I could see this happening as well, the Sinnoh remasters. That's one that I'm actually shocked isn't coming out this year, since Sinnoh came out in 2007, I believe. Or was it 08? Was it 07 or 08? I'm going to Google that real quick. I'm going to Google real quick because I actually am not 100% sure. Hey, Pokemon Pearl. Oh, that was 06! Holy crap. We're overdue. We are really overdue. That is surprising. They always usually come out with those around the 10-year anniversary. But that is actually pretty shocking. They are overdue for the Sinnoh remasters. So, I definitely think it's what we aren't seeing that's telling more of the story than what we are seeing. So, with that knowledge, I definitely think the Sinnoh remasters could have a shot at coming out on the Switch in some shape or form. Is it going to happen? Again, I think it's a little bit doubtful just because Pokemon's always been handheld first. But with that knowledge now that we are overdue, who's to say? I mean, I think it would have a shot. Again, not getting my hopes up too high, but definitely a shot. So this part that I added on this because this is, as I was putting all this down, I was like, this is going to probably end up being a bit of a short video or podcast. So the perfect world game, as I like to call it, the pipe dream game, because it is my pipe dream. I want this game to happen more than basically any other game in existence. What kind of game could the Switch get in terms of open world Pokemon game? So I've laid this out because people have always talked about this. You have to tackle the gyms in any order, and it's got to be open world. It would have to be open world. There would be no other way it could work. It would be really weird to have an open world Pokemon game where you can't tackle the gyms in any order. It cannot be linear. Pokemon has always been linear as hell, but has always shined in the moments where it's non-linear, like tackling Kanto in Gold and Silver and Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So the next question would be, is it an old region or something totally brand new? So the new region would definitely have to have all Pokemon available from all generations, some from Gen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now 7 with Sun and Moon. If it's an old region, obviously, in the case of like the Sinnoh remasters, it would just keep those Pokemon. Nothing new. So the next question would be multiple regions. Again, I think that would have to work best with new instead of old, unless it was something with Kanto and Johto. Definitely, then you would have to have both Kanto and Johto. And then, of course, opposing faction. Would it be something new, something old? Definitely same as what I was just talking about. And the only exception could be Team Rocket. Those are the ones that you could definitely get away with bringing back in a new region, and I think that would send everyone fangasming all at once. Everybody would need new underwear if there was a new region and Team Rocket was the enemy. And the biggest next big thing would be real-time battles. Yes, yes, and hell yes. I want real-time battles in Pokemon probably more than anyone. And I like the turn-based battles, but ever since we've gone 3D, I've really longed to get real-time battles with Pokemon where it's more skill-based in terms of dodging and whatnot. But again, that could work. You'd have to do like a whole new battle system. Maybe rebalance existing moves, introduce new moves. It could be a Herculean undertaking, but it's one that I think would pay off big time. And then random encounters, this is one that could be tricky if we're doing an open world game, I think you got to get rid of random encounters. You've got to be real time battles, and you've got to be you see wild Pokemon roaming around and whatnot. And then like you see, just spitballing here, a random Zigzagoon. Like you're wandering around and here's a Zigzagoon, and you can like you gotta have some kind of switch where you can like choose which Pokemon you're gonna bring out. I think that would be cool. Also, is that you're not limited to slots where every time you start a battle, you send out your first Pokemon. You can choose any Pokemon. That's something that I think could be interesting and add more depth to the battle system. So you run up on this level 10 Zigzagoon, you can send out any Pokemon you want to battle it and initiate the battles. And obviously, you've got to take control of your Pokemon. As soon as you send them out, camera switches. You're on your Pokemon. Even like copy the camera angle from Pokken. That would be cool, since that's more of a fighting game. So you've got to switch the camera angle to follow your Pokemon and then do battle. So my pipe dream Pokemon game. This is what I want more than anything. Would be a single region. Multiple regions I think could be tough unless it's Kanto Johto, because then you risk stuff getting a bit repetitive and whatnot. All new or Kanto Johto would be my perfect world. Even though the Sinnoh remasters could be interesting, because I always say it, the Sinnoh Gen 4 Sinnoh was a bit of a what's the right way to say it? A bit of a overlooked generation. I know Sinnoh has its fans, but it seems like a lot of people identify with what either came before Sinnoh or after Sinnoh. I've never heard anyone say that Sinnoh was their favorite generation. It's the one generation where it seems like nobody has strong opinions on it. So, with that being said, people overlook it, I think, a little bit. So, if Sinnoh was brought back in this style, I think it would be really interesting. It's the one where I think it's the one old generation besides Kanto Johto that I think would work really well in a 3D open world, 3D open world style. So real-time battle system, that's what I want more than anything in an open world Pokemon game. No turn-based battles. Give me the action RPG style Pokemon. Now, again, no random encounters. You can tackle gyms in any order. The more mature story in the vein of Black and White. Black and White 2, the best stories ever told in Pokemon, with some of the worst Pokemon designs. It's the best of one world and the worst of the other. That's old Gen 5 for you. And if I got this, oh, I would love Nintendo a long time. I would lay that game down by the fire and make sweet love to it. So, the future of Pokemon is one definitely. It's always looking up. Pokemon is always looking up. Pokemon is always relevant. It's really, I think there's another game franchise that does it, because Pokemon comes out every year. What other franchises come out every year that stay as acclaimed as Pokemon? It sure shit ain't Call of Duty. Call of Duty is probably the most hated. Assassin's Creed, again, was probably getting close to being the most hated. Pokemon is the only franchise that can really come out every year and still be relevant and still make good games. I think it really comes down to it being handheld. That's why, like what I said with Sinnoh, what we haven't seen is telling a lot more than what we have. The fact that Sinnoh is a year overdue now for their remasters, that's definitely saying something. That's definitely makes you wonder, what's Game Freak got up their sleeves. The Sinnoh remaster would be huge on the Switch. It would pull in all of the old school Sinnoh fans. It would really, I think, it would take people by surprise, I think, because people forget what Gen 4 was, and it was really the start of what would set up Gen 5 and Gen 6. Well, again, probably more Gen 5 than Gen 6, since Gen 4 was a lot more open ended than Gen 6. So that's the future of Pokemon. It's definitely going to be telling. We've got Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon coming out this year, Pokken Tourney coming out this year for the Switch, Gold and Silver re releases. But there's going to be some Pokemon on the Switch, and it's going to be a lot more than Pokken. It's just, what's it going to be? That is the biggest question. It's a matter of when, not if. So that's this episode of the 41 show. Again, pretty short, probably the shortest one. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Not every episode is going to be Breath of the Wild review. So thanks for listening, probably more than watching. I'm used to saying thanks for watching. But thanks for listening, and I hope to see you next week. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet next week. So we'll see you.